Hi guys, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome to another video. And today I want to talk about weight gain. It's something that's going on a lot right now. It's been trending and people are talking about they're gaining weight around the holidays or coming off of a time where there's a lot of social events, a lot of eating, and how do you deal with it, or what does it really mean to gain a certain amount of weight? What is healthy? What isn't? And I sort of just wanted to address a few different things. I have put on some weight myself. I'm not going overboard, of course, but there is a certain limit that you should have for yourself, or just realizing certain effects for gaining a certain amount of weight. You want to remain within a certain guideline because you want to keep your health in check. I want to provide information for you guys in order to be healthy, be your best self, feel better, look better, all different aspects. I just want to give you guys some information about the research that I have done and what I've learned about gaining a certain amount of weight, and maybe this could help you. So gaining an over excess amount of weight is going to increase your risk of heart disease, strokes, cancers, gallstones, and that is just apparent if you're putting on, let's say, like 15 to 40 to 50 to even more weight than like you normally are. So this is really like an excess amount of weight. You're just increasing your risk of all these different types of illnesses and diseases. Weight does depend on how many calories are consumed, how many calories are stored as fat, and how many calories are burned by the body. So depending on all those different factors will determine how much weight you're actually putting on and how much weight you actually are taking off. These factors are not just influenced by how much you take in, but they are also influenced by your genes and your environment. So not everybody is going to burn the same amount of calories. Not everybody is going to be the same exact weight. We all have different genes that depend on all of that. So we have to work with what we have, and you can never blame your genes on the way you are or the way you currently stand. So if you are consuming excess amount of calories, those excess amount of calories will be stored as fat in the body, known as adipose tissue. And these tissues expand and get bigger as you consume more excess calories. So as they expand and get bigger, your waist gets bigger. As you eat less calories, they get smaller, your waist gets smaller. So that's just science behind how much the fat is stored in your body and what happens to your body when you're eating more or eating less. There was a Harvard study done, and the increase of diabetes increased by 20 times for people who were overweight, and they also were at a higher risk again for the high blood pressure, the gallstones, and risk of stroke. So this was putting their body at a greater risk of these potential illnesses. The Archives of Psychiatry put out a study, and 55% of the people who are overweight were at greater risk of having depression, and more people who were obese experienced more of this depressed state. The depressed state is due to elevated levels of cortisol. So cortisol is what's going to cause more fat storing in the body, and this is also can be contributed by not getting enough sleep. So when you don't get enough sleep, your cortisol levels are higher, and your body's potential to put on more fat and to keep the weight is higher. So you want to make sure you have stable cortisol levels, and being depressed, not getting enough sleep is going to contribute to the elevated effects of that certain hormone. So if you are just 22 pounds overweight, that is going to increase your systolic blood pressure, your diastolic blood pressure, and you want to remain within like a 120 over 80 or less, and just 22 pounds overweight is going to contribute to potentially having to go on high blood pressure medication. People who are overweight experience metabolic syndrome. So women who have a waist over 35 inches, men who have a waist over 40 inches is going to put you at a higher risk of metabolic syndrome. You're going to have higher blood pressure, high triglyceride levels. Obesity ranks as the second leading cause of cancer deaths behind cigarette smoking. So it's cigarette smoking, then obesity. And the reason why obesity is leading towards cancer deaths is because when these fat cells are created, they can actually manipulate new cells that are being formed. Fat cells can actually release a hormone that can affect cell growth, which then could turn into a metastasized cell and turn into a cancer cell. So fat cells are harsh on the body, and you don't know how they're going to affect the way new cells are made. Higher BMIs are associated with higher risks of cancers in the liver, the colon, the esophagus, the kidneys, and even more other parts of the body. The New England Journal of Medicine reported that people who were 50 to 71, if they were overweight in their midlife, that they actually decreased their lifespan by 2 to 3 times as opposed to somebody who is not overweight in their midlife. So if you stay overweight for a long period of time, you are potentially cutting your lifespan, and you just want to remain long term. You don't have to be super thin. You don't have to be super skinny. It's not about that. It's just about being a healthy weight, feeling okay enough to get in the gym, put in a good workout, eat well, feel good. It's not about just being super strict and having to remain this low body fat or this low weight for a long period of time. It's just a healthy body weight, and just realizing that if you go too far from that, you are potentially putting yourself at a higher risk of maybe not even living longer. And you can really take it slow. If you are overweight right now, just losing 10 pounds over 6 months is going to cut your blood pressure down, and you can maybe get off of those blood pressure medications, and you'll start feeling okay to do more high intensity exercises. And it's just about taking it slow, nothing too drastic too soon. So some people say, well, I need to put on some weight because I want to put on some muscle mass. And that is definitely true. If you remain in a caloric deficit for too long, your body is not able to put on real lean muscle mass. And the issue with that is that when you're in a caloric deficit, how much you burn is more than how much you eat. When you're a caloric surplus, how much you eat is more than how much you burn. So caloric deficit, caloric surplus. Now you need to be in a caloric surplus. So people automatically think, well, let's just go eat everything in sight. And the problem with that is that you really don't need to be eating 10% more than you're eating currently in order to be in a prime place with your body to put on lean muscle mass. Some people go 30% or more, and they're actually putting on more body fat than actual muscle mass. So the more fat you have, the harder it's going to be to really put on actual muscle mass. Your fat storage hormones are actually going to take over as opposed to muscle building hormones, and it's going to make you more difficult to put on actual muscle mass. So realize too that when you're eating 30% or more, your insulin sensitivity is also decreased. So when your insulin sensitivity is decreased, your body's ability to burn fat actually decreases, and it hinders your ability to put on muscle mass. So really only 10% more. I am guilty over the holidays to eating more than 10%. I'm trying to get things back right now. I'm a person who's starting off the new year, trying to start off right, but I cannot let my body be at a bad position metabolically, because if I want to go into a cut, I don't want it to be hard for my body to actually burn fat, take off the weight, put on lean muscle mass, and it'll make a long-term effect negatively if I continue to eat more than 10% of what I was eating before. So I'm slowly increasing. 0.5 to 1 pound a week weight gain is healthy from when you first ended your cut, but any more than that is not healthy for the body, and you're not actually putting on muscle mass, you're just putting on fat. So you want to get thinner, you want to be healthy, and really my advice to you is to prepare your meals ahead of time. Prepare your proteins, prepare your vegetables, any carbohydrates, healthy carbohydrates, and be prepared for the day. So I always make sure that if I am really going to go out to eat one day, I always am prepared the next day. So I prepare my chicken, my ground turkey, my sweet potatoes, my rice, my asparagus, zucchini, stuff like that. And I always keep that in abundance in the house. So I always have somewhere to go to. And that food should always be readily available, because if it isn't, then it's going to cause you to actually go out and go get something, and it's probably not going to be the best choice for the goals that you have. So if you find that you are maybe a closet eater, or you can pick things here and there, I would take it out of the house completely. I would keep foods in the house that make you feel good, to give you enough energy, make your skin feel good, make your body feel good, stuff that's not really going to sit with you, stuff that's more nutrient dense and not caloric dense, and that is going to be successful for you in the long term. So I would say stock up on those types of foods, some rice, sweet potatoes, like I said, oatmeal, fish, lean proteins, and I would just have it all in the refrigerator already, have a food scale, and start prepping your meals, put them in small containers. If you're on the go all day, just have that available for you. Get a bag where you can actually store all those meals, take them with you on the go. They'll be there all day, and only eat from those meals. So you have a certain budget of meals to eat, and if you run out and you can only spend that certain amount in a budget, if you're given a certain amount of money you can't go over that money because you're only given a certain amount. So think about your food that way. If you're only given a certain amount of food to eat, you can't eat any more than that. So just, it doesn't have to be that you're restricting your food, but you're eating either to maintain or to, again, only eat 10% more than you're eating if you're currently in a muscle building phase. But if you're trying to lose some weight, I would say decrease your food by 10% and start budgeting your food that way. I say to avoid high sugar, fast foods, high fat foods, really because it's gonna put you on a slippery slope. I found myself wanting to eat more and more when I was eating badly as opposed to when I was eating good. So if I ate like a good filling meal, like a meal that has more fiber and more nutrient dense, I feel more satiated after. But if I'm eating a more high fat, like fast food, I don't really eat too much fast food, but I'm eating a high fat, high calorie food that wasn't as much nutrient dense, I would feel hungry right after. So that's how you know like you're not really getting enough nutrients for your body and it's just still starving and it's sort of burned through that fat, increase your insulin levels and stored most of the food that you did eat as fat. So it just puts you on a slippery slope if you get in that habit of eating that way, because we're always out on the go. Wherever you go, there's really a food place anywhere, and there's so many temptations around to really get something. I feel myself being tempted. You're not alone if you feel that way, but I have to learn how to get in the right mindset, not put the food in my cart, not put the food in my mouth, and just move on from it. Because in the long term, you want to maximize muscle growth. You want to not have so much fat gain, because again, that's going to deter you in the long term. We're all about building long-term healthy lifestyles, and that's what I've tried to project to you guys. I'm a real person and I deal with real struggles, but I have to pull myself out of those struggles, and I want to be able to teach you guys to do that as well and feel good about doing that. Feel good about taking control of your nutrition, your health, and setting goals for yourself, because setting goals for yourself gives you something to shoot for. It gives you like some purpose, and when you don't have a certain purpose or a certain goal to shoot for, you sort of feel like empty and you feel like you're setting yourself back and you're not progressing, and you want to progress towards something. You don't have to get, like when I say I compete, like I progress towards a competition, but you don't have to progress towards a competition. You just progress towards feeling better, tightening up certain areas of your body that you want to see change, and you want to see that progression, and just always progress. We can never remain stagnant in life. We have to keep getting better. So getting better also comes with the fact that you need to feel better in order to get better. And if you don't feel better at the end of the day, what you're eating, what you're putting in your body, or what you're not doing in the gym is not making you feel good, it's not going to make you feel like you're progressing. And we all want to just keep progressing. So I'm just trying to teach you guys to put your goals down on paper, put things in perspective, and realize that what you're putting in your body that moment is only going to last in that moment. That moment's going to come and go, and then you're going to be left feeling empty and upset if you overate too much. So just taking the right steps to getting yourself feeling better, making the right decisions is what's going to lead you to true long-term healthy success. I would say find friends who share your goals and interests. So find a gym buddy. If they don't stick with you, it's fine, find another person, but people in the gym are very supportive of each other. They want it are all shooting towards a goal. We all want to feel better. We all want to look better, and there's always somebody to reach out to. So be really sociable in the gym. Obviously, you don't want to like distract people during their list, but don't be afraid to like talk to somebody, meet somebody, go to class with somebody, something like that, and you'll feel good that you're surrounded by people who share the same goals that you have. And I always recommend to surround yourself with people that make you feel that way. If I was around somebody who wasn't sharing the same goals as I have, I would sort of maybe feel down about myself, or I'd be afraid to share about the goals that I have towards them. So I'd be afraid to talk about like what I actually want to get done with them. And you want to be able to share ideas together and get better together. So we're all about building a positive, better community. If you're somebody who's really busy, I would say just put in at least 30 minutes of some activity level. It'll boost your endorphins, make you feel better. It's a time for yourself. It's 30 minutes of a day. You have 24 hours in a day. You can dedicate 30 minutes just to yourself, even if you have to do it right at home. There's a lot of DVDs, there's a lot of on-demand stuff that you can go and do just right in your own home, in the comfort of your own home, and just dedicate that time. There's never a bad workout. I don't honestly say that I ever have a bad one, because I know that if I put myself in the gym, if I went and at least did something, I always feel better. And you're always going to feel better if you at least do something. You don't have to lift the heaviest weight. You don't have to to run the fastest. You don't have to be the best at anything. You have to just be better than you were yesterday. It's all about being better than you were before. You're in a competition with yourself, and you have to just keep getting better for yourself. And you always want to find a way to hold yourself accountable, because if you aren't holding yourself accountable, you may not be sticking to your goals 100%. Because at the end of the day, if you really have nobody checking in on you, it's sort of like, well, how am I gonna like stay consistent? And I think either getting a coach, finding a friend, just somebody to have something to work towards together sort of keeps you accountable. So accountability is very, very huge. And if not, maybe log into certain websites where you can put your progress in, just some way of tracking of how you're progressing. Take pictures of yourself, see yourself change, and that will keep you going and working towards the goals that you have. I just want to make this video because putting on weight is real, and after the holidays, it's something that I've dealt with and I've seen a lot of other people deal with, but it's something I'm not trying to keep on, and I have enjoyed myself during the holidays, but I'm taking the right steps in order to get my health in check, and I don't want to put myself in any sort of risk illness-wise or disease-wise, and I want to be able to share that with you guys. And if you guys have struggled through the holidays, this is your time to take control and make the right decisions towards a better health and a better you. So hopefully you were able to find some of this helpful. If you guys have any other questions, or if you guys want to know any other steps in order to getting healthy, getting yourself on track, feel free to leave them in the comments. I love to hear from you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Always give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really does help me. I'm really looking forward to a great 2017 year. It's the year where we're all gonna get better. We're all gonna start doing things, not just saying things. It's the year of doing. So I really liked how somebody commented on my picture and said that, and I was like, yeah, that's a really great line. This is the year of doing. So let's do, let's get better for each other, and let's make 2017 best year yet. Love you guys.